Cunningham, she did it again. Sophie Cunningham absolutely embarrassed the Indiana Fever coaches, especially Briann January, who's supposed to be the defensive guru. I mean, Stephanie White came here from Connecticut. They told me she was a defensive coach when she got here. But Sophie Cunningham blasted them, letting it be known, man, the defense sucks. Whatever they have us doing sucks. This whole thing sucks, man. We got to get into
Back to the channel, buddy. Find a seat and brace yourself, because today we are unpacking what could be one of the wildest, most poisonous, and most explosive coaching controversies the WNBA has ever witnessed. The Indiana Fever locker room has reportedly reached a place where repairing the damage may no longer be possible, and the turmoil involving once-in-a-generation superstar Caitlin Clark has allegedly triggered sweeping dismissals near the top of the franchise. Fans were already furious about the way Indiana's staff had been using Clark, but those complaints may have only scratched the surface. In this video, we are taking a close look at reports of a stunning player revolt in which veteran guard Sophie Cunningham supposedly confronted head coach Stephanie White and tore apart the direction of the team. The accusations include deliberately restricting Clark, preventing her from controlling the offense, and allowing White and assistant coach Briann January to create an unbearable atmosphere behind closed doors. And buddy, this story reportedly goes far beyond one heated locker room confrontation. The fallout was described as so severe, and the alleged mistreatment so obvious, that league executives and Fever ownership were said to have intervened and launched a complete organizational purge. Head coach Stephanie White and general manager Amber Cox were reportedly removed from their positions. Stay with this video from beginning to end, because we are examining the alleged betrayal, the retaliation that followed, and the dramatic firing supporters believe may have protected Caitlin Clark's future. Hit the subscribe button, and let's jump straight into this chaos.
We got to do that. We don't know what we're doing. Like, what? What? Let's get into this. You got Briann January. This is Briann January. You see her coming down right here, trying to calm Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham down on the bench. They're just disregarding her. Like, get out of here. Look, you see Sophie say, get out of my way. Get out of my face. Just get out of my face. And this is supposed to be the defensive guru that they're supposed to be listening to. They don't want to listen to no Briann January. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. They don't want to listen to Briann January, and maybe they have a point in not wanting to listen to Briann January. I mean, I think it's that simple. I mean, it is what it is. What has Briann January done?
Begin with the reported locker room uprising that supposedly caused the entire franchise structure to collapse, buddy. Pressure had been building inside the Indiana Fever organization throughout the season, and the situation was increasingly described as a bomb waiting to explode. Caitlin Clark continued producing elite offensive performances, including a remarkable 32-point outing against the Seattle Storm on July 29 and the fourth triple-double of her career against Portland on August 4th, when she finished with 26 points and 10 assists. Yet while Clark was delivering on the court, stories about a widening separation between the players and coaching staff began surfacing. Even then, most people apparently had no idea how ugly the internal conflict had become. That changed when Sophie Cunningham allegedly entered a private team meeting and unleashed everything she had been holding back. According to the circulating reports, Cunningham took direct aim at Stephanie White and assistant coach Briann January, openly challenging their decisions and accusing the staff of failing Clark at nearly every level. She reportedly argued that the coaches had not created the support system, offensive freedom, or development plan required for a player of Clark's extraordinary ability. Reportedly changed the entire mood inside the room. What may have started as a difficult discussion about schemes and accountability quickly became a direct challenge to the authority of the coaching staff. Cunningham was said to have placed the team's internal problems in full view, forcing players, coaches, and executives to confront questions that had been quietly building for months. Her message was reportedly simple. Indiana possessed one of the most dangerous offensive talents in basketball, yet the system was preventing that talent from fully controlling games. Once those concerns were openly voiced, the dispute could no longer be dismissed as ordinary frustration after a difficult performance. It had allegedly become a serious battle over the direction of the franchise, the treatment of its biggest star, and whether the coaches were prioritizing their own authority over the team's ability to win.
We were in foul trouble a lot out here, so we didn't have consistent rotations. We put them to the free throw line We turned the ball over, got them some easy looks. I think we're better offensively and defensively than we were at that point, finding our way. And so, I think we're both different teams than we were at that moment. But all the attention to detail it has got to be there. We got to take care of the ball. We've got to make sure that we're disciplined in our defensive schemes, and we've got to defend without fouling.
What's your take on these anti-trans in women's sports rallies that have been following you guys in Seattle, Portland, and have been reported to come to the next stops in Minnesota?
Yeah, look, I think, anytime there's peaceful protest, that's people's rights, certainly. I think when we think about the WNBA in particular.
Claims being circulated are deeply disturbing, buddy. Sources allegedly said Cunningham revealed a brutal internal reality. Stephanie White would supposedly accept losing rather than modify her preferred approach and allow Caitlin Clark to truly command the offense. Cunningham reportedly highlighted White's confusing play designs, inflexible substitutions, and unwillingness to change, arguing that those decisions were limiting the league's most valuable attraction instead of empowering her. She also reportedly criticized Breon January for supporting and maintaining that environment, giving credibility to what frustrated fans had been arguing for months, that Indiana's own staff was working against its brightest star. So how did White allegedly respond after being challenged by one of her veteran players? Did she acknowledge the concerns? Did she make peace with Clark or reconsider the offensive structure? According to the reports, absolutely not. White supposedly reacted with fury and chose retaliation rather than reform. Instead of correcting the system, she allegedly imposed what amounted to a revenge-driven ban. During an intensely emotional confrontation, White reportedly pushed both Clark and Cunningham away from team activities and accused them of causing internal disruption simply because they questioned her control. The atmosphere became so hostile that alleged recordings and leaked accounts described Clark and Cunningham as being shut out of the team's trusted inner circle.
It is what it is. The game plan's whack. All of this stuff is whack. Let's see what Stephanie White had to say about it.
Addressing slippage, being able to really work, fine-tuning some details, and being able to add some things.
Slippage specifically, what do you view as those areas?
Well, there's always slippage. Certainly. I think execution defensively, I think execution offensively. Really, when it comes to details, you need reps. And so the opportunity to get reps is going to be important.
This lady says a bunch of nothing. Oh, what the details? How about a better game plan from you and Breon January? Aren't y'all supposed to be defensive gurus? Aren't y'all supposed to be defensive gurus, Stephanie White? What is the big holdup on y'all getting the defense together? I don't understand. I'm having a very difficult time understanding Stephanie White.
Is this team where you expected them to be just on the learning curve defensively, or are they a little bit behind maybe where you expected? How would you gauge that?
Yeah, I don't know if there was a clear-cut expectation with so many new people. Certainly when you add new pieces different from what you had and new pieces that, some of them new to the league.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did this lady just say there was no expectation? There was no expectation? Are you serious?
Expectation were important.
Is this team where you expected them to be just on the learning curve defensively, or are they a little bit behind maybe where you expected? How would you gauge that?
Yeah, I don't know if there was a clear-cut expectation.
The moment everything finally broke apart, Clark refused to abandon Cunningham and stood beside her teammate while challenging what they viewed as an authoritarian response from the coaching staff. The locker room was said to have split into opposing sides. Coaches fighting to preserve their authority, and two major players demanding a structure that gave the team its best chance to succeed. Once the alleged plan to isolate them became public, the front office could no longer pretend that nothing serious was happening behind closed doors. And buddy, a franchise cannot mishandle a transformative talent like Caitlin Clark forever without eventually paying a massive price. The public backlash, the reported threats of reduced roles, and the refusal to modernize the offense allegedly left Fever ownership with no other choice. After witnessing enough dysfunction, organizational leaders were said to have taken immediate and dramatic action. Stephanie White, who previously guided Indiana to the 2015 WNBA Finals, was reportedly dismissed as head coach. The changes did not end there. Amber Cox, who had only arrived as general manager in October 2024, was also reportedly removed from her job as part of the sweeping response.
We disagree. We're able to have difficult conversations. We're able to support one another, and we're able to still go out and work for a common good. And, I think sport is a leader in that way. I think athletics is a leader in that way. We don't all have to believe the same things in order to pull together, in order to support one another. You know, and in that way, I wish that society was a lot more like athletics. You know, and I think that again, it's the most important thing to me is that we take care of our locker room, and as a league and as a human, from a humanity standpoint, that we welcome everyone.
What is it like, I guess, maybe you're aware, maybe you're not aware, just the Fever brand in general has been connected to things that are not necessarily commensurate with inclusivity. Like, how do you, as an out woman, sort of feel about that?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate because the brand is being used in a way that I don't think it's the people within the brand that are doing that as much. I think that social media has a big influence on that. I think, you know, it's a very challenging time, I would say, when so much of the narrative it gets taken away in an algorithm, so to speak, and then that's what we're discussing, and that's what we're talking about, and it's the nature of the beast of where we are right now with social media and with algorithms and with bots and with all of those things, which is why the interpersonal communication, the connecting, is so important.
What's your stance? What is your stance on men or athletes who test as biological male participating in women's sports? What's your personal stance?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would say that I'm educated enough from a scientific standpoint.
Leadership reportedly decided that a partial correction would not be enough, and instead removed both the coach, accused of enforcing the damaging system, and the general manager blamed for allowing the situation to continue. The reported outcome points to one overwhelming conclusion. Stephanie White lost her position because she would not reshape the team around one of the most powerful offensive forces in basketball. Sophie Cunningham, meanwhile, is being portrayed as the player who risked her own comfort and standing inside the locker room to finally bring an end to the coach's control. Buddy, the irony surrounding this story is almost impossible to ignore. White and Cox allegedly attempted to freeze Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham out of the organization's inner structure, but in the end, they were reportedly the ones who were removed completely. For Fever supporters, this represents an enormous victory and sends a warning throughout the WNBA. When a franchise is fortunate enough to possess a superstar capable of transforming the entire league, it cannot afford to
I'm sure they have expectation. No expectation defensively. There's no expectation. You know, we're just y'all just rolling the ball out there, and you just, hey, switch 1 through 5, no help. We just rolling the balls out there. Pick up, switch, no help. No expectation. Let's just figure it out on the go. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous.
I think that you gauge it early. You think about what you want to do and what you want to put in. You gauge how quickly we're able to get to that point, and then how much retention there is. And so, you know, I think it's a group that would I like to be further along. Of course, I think every coach would. It is where we are. And I think now for us having an opportunity for a week to be able to get back to addressing some of those things, and then seeing how much further we can push is important.
Do you have any updates on Caitlin and her status, or you expect her to practice today?
Now we got to get to this portion where she did talk about the update on Caitlin Clark. Let's get into this.
I don't feel like legitimate WNBA fans. Caitlin did an individual workout this morning.
What does that entail for her? Is she with coaches for that? Is she just literally by herself?
No, she's with our player development coaches, with our medical staff, with our sports performance staff, and just working on some basketball skill stuff, movement pattern stuff, as she continues to work her way back to full team activity.
Too early to know about availability for Sunday?
Yeah, no, I think it's still too early.
Do you have a better idea, I guess, of just her status? Like, is she doing better with her back, or do you have more clarity, I guess, just on the injury itself?
Yeah, I mean, I think every day is a little bit better, right? Every day is a little bit better. And again, I reiterate for those who haven't had back issues, every day it can be something different. You can feel really good in practices or workouts or warm-ups or whatever, and then you go to bed at night and you wake up and it's different. Or, if you sit at home and you're watching something on television, if you're watching the game or whatever else, you can wake up and it's different. I mean, it's the back is a nagging thing that manifests itself in different ways.
Was it a re-aggravation? Is that how you would, the medical staff would describe it as a re-aggravation, or is this kind of a new thing?
Yeah, I don't think it's a new thing. I think it's a re-aggravation. Again, when you have a back, it's like every day is different.
Are you involved in virtual reality at all?
So she still has no. Caitlin Clark got to get away from Stephanie White. She has to get away from her. Lady got no info, you know, oh, she just did, you know, just another individual workout and da-da-da, like, listen, man, I hope y'all don't think y'all about to do this whole...
I want to know exactly what you think, so head straight to the comments section. Are you celebrating the reported dismissals of Stephanie White and Amber Cox? Do you believe Sophie Cunningham deserves to be called a legend for confronting the staff and defending Caitlin Clark? Leave your strongest and most ruthless opinions below. And if you are looking for the boldest, most direct, and least filtered WNBA coverage anywhere online, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel right now. We are continuing to uncover every controversy, every confrontation, and every piece of drama, buddy. I'll see you in the next one.